All right, turn your Bibles to 2 Corinthians chapter 8. Very familiar passage. But how do you know repeat is real good? Because it strengthens you as you hear it again and again and again. It goes deeper and it gets wider and it becomes more fuller on the inside. And then some of your questions get answered as you hear the same thing over and over and again. So repeat is not bad. Look at your neighbor and say, repeat. It's not bad. It's not bad. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, look at verse 1 and 2. Moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of God bestowed on the churches of Macedonia, how that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty, now they had a deep poverty, abounded unto the riches of their liberality. So he said they had a great trial. Anybody had a great trial? Okay. And he said, but they had a whole lot of joy in their trial. Have you had joy in your trial? Because that's a key in your return. You can't be moaning and complaining when you're going through something. Because in order to prosper, you have to have opposition. You will have opposition in prospering. And you got to know that. So when you're going through something, don't complain. Just do it with joy. And he said, in their deep poverty, abounded unto the riches of their liberality. They began to give like that was all they had to do. In fact, he says, if you keep reading, he said they gave beyond their ability. They went and found stuff that they could sell and get money. Oh, Jesus. When we really began to take things seriously, God would take us seriously. Now see, because to the natural mind, this verse makes no sense to the natural man that these people look like we should be saying, now if you give us that money, you're going to have to go on welfare. You're going to be broke next week. You're going to need some gas. Because we're talking about poor people sowing. You can't get out of poverty unless you sow. You can't get out your current condition unless you give. And we're not just talking about your ordinary giving. So this is a new level. Okay, turn to 2 Corinthians, next chapter over. Look at chapter 9, look at verse 6. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly. Now you should not be surprised when you don't get something the way you thought you should get it. You need to check your sowing. Now, see, sparing doesn't mean you didn't do nothing. It just means you stayed in your comfort zone. I'll say it again. Sparing doesn't mean you didn't do anything. It meant you stayed where it was comfortable for you. A gift of where you can forget real easy. And let's read that again, verse 6. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. So that is a law. You can't change it. I can't change it. If you're going to give cheap, you're going to sow cheap. If you're going to reap cheap, if you're going to give generously, you're going to reap generously. That's a law. You attract unto you what you are. You know, my husband and I was talking recently and was talking about a gift that somebody had given someone else. And this man of God would make the statement that he did not give away something that needed to be worked on because he didn't want to get something that needed to be worked on. How many of you know what I'm saying? So you don't give away broke down stuff just because you're tired of it. And it's not in good use. Because that's what you're going to attract back to you. Oh, yeah. See, you learn it. I told you it's going to go deeper and fuller. But he look at verse 7. Every man according as his purpose in his heart. So let him give. So let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity. For God loveth a cheerful giver. So Every man according to his purpose in his heart, so let him give. And it can't be grudging. So you got to understand you are farming money. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm farming money. So now every farmer knows he got to sow seed if he's going to have a harvest. Right? In fact, this is the only time a farmer will go in debt is because he got expectation of a big harvest. He will borrow money to plant seed. You got any good friends that you can borrow some money from? You might need to sow more than what you got in your hand for your current condition to get out of it. I'm not telling you go borrow money. I'm saying this is what a farmer does. A farmer understands that in order to get the harvest he's looking for, he can't keep giving what he got or what he has done in the past. If $25 is all that you can sow, I'm not talking to you. I'm not putting a limit because, see, everybody's potential to sow is not the same yet. But God knows what your bountiful seed is, and so do you. Because he's judging by what you have left over, the current condition you're in, your heart condition. See, God is examining all of that. I don't have to do that. God is examining that. So you are farming money. So now if you take sowing seriously, then God will take your harvest seriously. You might need to write that one down, because that's a thought that you need to consider. Because sometimes we give, but we don't take it seriously. In the bucket, and it's going out of our mind. A farmer can't just praise and pray, but they must sow seed. And every time you sow seed, it's being labeled either sparing or generous. And see, that's because of the condition of your heart. So we have got to plan on sowing, because sparing, like I said, doesn't mean you didn't do anything. You just stayed in your comfort zone. Remember I told you on last Sunday that I'm already planning what I'm going to give in 2020. By the end of 2020, I want to have sold a certain amount of money. And I went to the Lord and said, Lord, this is what I want to do. Now, this is not what you plan on me to do, you tell me, but this is what I desire to do. You provide for it. Because he said he gives seed to the sower. That means you got to plan on sowing. You got to have a plan for sowing and not just shooting from the hip. Ooh, Jesus. God like it when we plan on sowing. Ooh. And see, when you stay in your comfort zone, you stay where it doesn't affect you much. So if your sowing doesn't affect you when you're sowing, it doesn't affect your harvest much. You're attracting back to yourself what you are planting. You can't plant an onion and get a rose. And you can pray in tongues and talk over and speak over. When you planted an onion, you did not plant a rose. You must plant a rose to get a rose. You must plant money to get money. That's a lesson we got to come into. Why, Pastor Downer? Because a generous harvest is no accident. It's not an accident to have a generous harvest. It's not like, you know, like they do on the TV with the commercials, and they won $1 million, but they've been giving into that thing for the past 20 years. Buying every card, every book, going to every place to buy those, those gambling cards. Look how long they've been sowing. They were planting because they were looking for something back. So we got to become generous in our giving. You say, well, why are you talking about that? Because most people forget God, even though this is his birthday. This is his season. We forget him. I don't understand that. You go to a party and you get invited to the party and you don't bring the person who the party is for no gifts. You wouldn't come to another party of mine Not because gifts are, but see, you coming to the King of Kings. You're not just going to any person. And whenever you stand before a king, you're supposed to bring a gift. That's protocol. But we're talking about a grace of giving that comes upon you because you are planning to sow. Oh, Jesus. You have developed a sowing system. And you won't quit. You got your regular giving, and then you got a system. The way you say, this is what I'm going to use to bless the house of God. I'm going to bless the kingdom with this. And I'm going to let it heap up if I have to. And then the Lord will tell you when to release that. Ooh. Or you can give it service by service, however you and the Lord work it out. And then at the end of the year, you look back and you say to yourself, Lord, you allowed me to do all of that. And you say to yourself, I wonder how I did, because I had a sowing system. And you look back how God preserved you the whole year. And the things that happened to other people didn't happen to you. And the stuff that should have happened didn't happen to you because your sowing system preserved you. Ooh, Jesus. There are things that take place in our lives sometimes because we don't develop this system. We sow by emotions, and we shouldn't. We should have a system of sowing and not emotional sowing. Come on, did you learn anything this morning? Come on, stand to your feet.